I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Oops the Podcast. I'm Giulio. I'm joined by Francis. Francis, how you doing, pal?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good. Dude, I gotta be honest, and it's amazing. I don't know what's different about this specific one, and sorry to start the episode off like this, but that shooting in the grocery store really fucked me up. And granted, all these shootings suck and are fucked up, but like, I have to ask you this question. Like, what would you do if somebody who was very close to you, an A-level person in your life, that's how they died? How do you live with that?
Oh,
It's so fucked up, man.
yeah.
How do you live with that? Again, I'm sorry that this is such
No,
a heavy note.
I don't know the answer.
I feel for the families of those people so hard
Yeah.
because they're just buying fucking Greek yogurt, dude.
Yeah.
You're buying Faya and you're getting clipped.
You don't even think about it.
It's terrible, man.
You don't go to you don't associate a grocery store or a movie theater,
You know?
or any of the, or school with a place of violence where you have to have your guard up.
I know. And it's just some like angry, angsty teen who needed therapy. I don't know what the hell. I know nothing about the person who did this. I'm just talking about like the profile of the kind of person who typically is doing this sort of thing. And maybe I should be reading more about this, whatever. But like, it always seems like something that could have just so easily been avoided. And it's so tragic.
Yeah.
You know, like why?
I don't know though, because they just seem kind of random.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like so fucking.
So how do you
brutally random.
how do you prevent something that's totally random?
I don't. All right, I see what you're saying, but like I mean, from the sense of like, it didn't have to happen. It just doesn't need to happen like that. You know, just like go punch a wall, like do some. Like I get that it's not that simple, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
and this is the most obvious argument in the entire world. But why are these crazy people have access to these automatic weapons? You know,
Yeah.
It's just like, it's mind blowing. It's like cliche to even fucking say at this point because you feel like there's no point in even saying it because nothing's going to change.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm not saying you even want one, but
Mhm.
let's say that you did want to buy an automatic weapon
Mhm.
or a semi-automatic weapon.
Mhm.
Do you think that you should be allowed to buy one? Not
Me
not-
personally?
Yeah, like, are you somebody who would be safe enough to sell a gun to?
No, like, I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. Like, I don't see myself ever fucking using it. You know what I mean? But like, dude, you know, we're people. People don't have it all figured out, dude. We clearly are all fucked up in some way.
Yeah.
You know, like, is anybody, like, certainly, you know, I guess these like trained military people, whatever. Of course, there's people who can handle having guns and stuff. But I would say in general, there's a reason why these things are so fucking dangerous because we're all nuts.
Yeah.
You know, people are fucking nuts.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think that I deserve to be sold a gun.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a viable
point?
candidate. And the fucked up part is that I would have no problem buying a gun. Like people, it would be very easy, I think, for me to buy a
I
gun.
think so too, maybe.
Nobody would,
Can you even buy
flag
them here,
the
though?
fact that I've, seen a therapist or
Right.
I don't mean to like denigrate that or anything or say that people who see therapists shouldn't be able to buy guns. I'm just saying there are parts of my brain that have malfunctioned at times, which in my mind should remove me from the list of eligible
Right.
gun owners.
Right.
And yet that would never come up.
Right.
No one would know. And I would be able to buy one, no problem.
Dude, yeah. No, you make an interesting point. It's like, this would be a great app. An app that sort of like went through all these intangible things that should disqualify you.
Yeah.
Like, have you been to rehab?
Have you sent 48 text messages in a row to your ex-girlfriend?
At 2 a.m.
Like, have
Right.
you know, how long was the last message that you sent to your ex-girlfriend? No, you can't buy a gun, you know, like.
You're right. If you started doing that, very few people would qualify.
Have you ever looked out the window of your house just by poking the blind slightly open to see what was happening on the street. You know, things like that. There's a lot of that. Yes, I agree. There are a lot of things that should flag somebody.
Totally, man. So I don't know. Whatever. You know, our thoughts go out to families of those people.
Yeah,
You know,
of
hopefully
course.
somehow this will stop happening.
Yeah. Well,
Well, dude, it's award season, which I would actually argue is the only time of year where I'm actually interested in movies still.
okay. All right. Really quick.
Yeah.
We got Mank, Nomadland, Something Woman, or
Promising Young Woman,
Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal,
The Father,
The Father, Judas and the Black Messiah,
Judas and the Black
which
Messiah.
I really liked.
Haven't finished it. I started watching it yesterday.
Oh, that's
Um,
figures.
we're missing two. Chris is pulling them up.
Yeah.
Okay, the two that we are missing are Trial of the Chicago 7 and,
Oh, that was
and
really good.
Minari.
Yeah. Trial of Chicago 7. I haven't seen a lot of them, man.
I'm halfway through. I'm getting through it. For me so far, I really liked Sound of Metal was heart shattering. I thought it was really good.
I don't need that in my life
Dude, I
right
know.
now.
I know. I feel you on that. And Promising Young Woman was crazy. And I liked them both.
Okay.
But I haven't seen, and I saw Mank. I didn't really like. Chicago 7 was,
It's a little homeworky this year.
yeah.
I
you said
have
that
to
me.
say, you know, sometimes it's more years than others, but this year it's a lot of homework to get through if you're trying to watch the Best Picture nominees. And I don't know, buddy. I got enough non-homework entertainment to
I
get
feel you.
through that I don't know that I need to take on,
I understand.
you know, one for them or whatever.
I totally get it, man.
I'm also reading a really, really boring book right now.
So what's the process? At that point, are you ever, and I think we talked about this briefly, but is there ever a moment where you're just like, I don't need to finish this. I'm not going to.
Sunk cost fallacy. We've talked about
Yeah,
it. I've
yeah.
I've come too far to get put down the book.
And you're like, I'm going to power through.
Yeah, and
Because
you know,
sometimes the book turns you. Like you'll get halfway through and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I actually like this.
it's picked up a little bit, and I've also allowed myself to skim through some of the. It's the book I'm reading is, I think it's called The Great Bridge, David McCullough, about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, and it's
Ah, yes.
500 pages.
Jesus.
And each page, I mean, small font, footnotes.
Oy.
You know, it's so
Dense.
technical in the engineering descriptions. You know, page after page after page of how thick the steel cables were and where they're sourcing the steel from. And, you know, I'm really interested in reading about like how many guys died digging the caissons, which are the
Right.
foundations into the riverbed.
Who are just like buried into the
They're
riverbed.
deep underwater and they're in compressed air chambers, and nobody understands. Have we talked about this?
No.
Nobody knows what the bends is at this moment
Oh my
in history.
God, really?
And all these guys are being afflicted by it because, you know, they go down there, they work all day, and then they come up into the decompression chamber and they don't allow themselves enough time to to let the nitrogen, which builds up in your blood, come out through your lungs. That's how normally when you're like scuba diving,
Interesting.
you ascend to the surface very slowly to let the nitrogen sort of, I think, evaporate and then go into your lungs as a gas, which you then expel out of your lungs. Instead, if you come up too quickly, the bubbles of nitrogen come out of your blood,
Oh,
and
wow.
it fucks you up.
So this is what the
bad.
bends is.
That's what the bends is.
I just know all I know about the bends is that if when you come up too quick, the bends happen. I
Yeah.
just don't know specifically.
and you
what it
get
was.
you get poisoned basically by your
Jesus.
blood, and
That's crazy.
they used to call it caisson sickness because of how it happened to all these bridge builders.
But you said decompression, so they knew that they had to decompress though.
Well, there were these two very discerning doctors. It was almost as a result of the building of the Brooklyn Bridge that they learned about the bends. Wow. And these physicians, these two guys, I can't remember one of them, but the other one of them who had done a lot of work and was very discerning about it was Walter Reed, who was a Brooklyn doctor at the time. Now, you know, he became one of the most well-known and prominent physicians in the world. And now they've named the military hospital for him in Washington, D.C., where the presidents go, but also my brother-in-law works as a surgeon.
I did not know that.
And yeah, it's an insane thing. These guys are down there shoveling and digging into the riverbed to sink the caisson lower and lower until
Crazy.
they get to bedrock. so that the bridge can rest on a heavy foundation. And
Well,
they're
this
like,
sounds pretty fucking interesting.
well, this
actually.
part is. This part is, but it's so technical a lot for 10-page stretches that you just you're like, I'm not trying to build my own bridge. I don't need to know this.
When was it built? Like in 1900?
1870 to like 1877.
Got it.
Just about.
It only took, dude, it blows my mind what
crazy.
man can build.
Dude, at that point in time, it's beyond belief.
It's
that
crazy,
they did
bro.
this. They didn't even have electricity yet.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
They were using steam powered equipment.
Dude, steel is crazy. Like
Yeah.
the fact I was on the Brooklyn Bridge like 2 days ago, sitting in traffic, and I looked over at Hillary. I was like, it's insane that this isn't just shattering right now and falling.
Well, I think that they have, over the many years now, they have repaired and strengthened and modernized a lot of the
Interesting.
components of the bridge. I don't know that for sure yet because I still have 100 pages to go, but
They're always working
has
on
to
it, dude.
be.
They're always working. My whole
Yeah.
life, they're always fucking the bridge. I take the tunnel, but you got to pay $8
yeah,
for the fucking,
yeah.
whatever.
But there are themes from this book that resonate today. One of which is that so many people doubted this, right?
The bridge
The
construction?
bridge, meaning they shit on it. They were like, it's never gonna work. It's too dangerous. The people building it are corrupt. They're taking money from the city. They're taking money and giving out contracts for themselves to their own companies so they'll get kickbacks.
Classic.
And it's like, newspapers are piling on and all of this. And, the head engineer, Washington Roebling, whose father actually designed the bridge and then died, so his son took over the building of it,
Wow.
is the most kind of, at least according to this book, the most righteous guy. He was a soldier at Gettysburg. I think he was part of like Pickett's charge. He was
Jesus.
like on the hill.
Jesus.
And then, finished,
low chance of survival.
yeah, finished the war and then became this brilliant engineer and finished the bridge, got case on sickness himself because he was going down into the bottom
Oy.
to make sure everything was square, got super, super sick, was bedridden for years,
Jesus.
but had such a brilliant mind that he could dictate notes to his wife to then send to the team of engineers and being like, yo, you need to do this today. You need to do this.
And he got a street.
Eventually, exactly. And so did
Williamsburg.
his wife, Emily
Really?
Roebling. Yeah, there's a street for her in Brooklyn Heights.
Bless
And they
her
had a
heart.
house in Brooklyn Heights, and he got a telescope, and he would look out the window at the bridge and make calls about what to do from
That's fucking
Yeah,
nuts, dude.
It's
Cool.
Look, I say the book. I'm not recommending this book. I promise you, I'm not recommending this book unless you are such a devourer of history and like bridge technicalities that you want to read it. Having said that, if you read this book, every time you cross the Brooklyn Bridge or look at it, you will have a profound sense of accomplishment of man.
Yeah, don't read. It's only the most interesting book of all time. Don't read it. It's the most interesting thing I've ever heard.
I'm giving mixed
fucking with you.
messages. You're
I'm
right.
fucking with you.
You're
No,
right.
dude, I completely get what you're saying. You are giving us the interesting parts, but then you're like, when you weather down the steam and the
Yeah.
beams and the steel,
No,
that's
dude,
boring.
he goes on. He'll be like, for this, 16 feet of steel cable was needed, and the rivulets were screwed into the planking using Bessemer steel. From there, the drills were dropped.
Yeah, it's like, what the-
he's reading you the instructions of how to build a bridge, and you're like, God Almighty, dude, tell me about people dying. I don't care about this. Boss Tweed
Yeah,
was part of this. He was one of the original investors.
buried in Greenwood Cemetery.
We got to move on because I'm sure a lot of our
No, this
listeners
is good. This is
don't
good stuff.
don't listen to us for this kind of thing.
Well, dude, did you see that one of the other nominated films in the documentary category? You may have mentioned this months ago to me, but I finally just watched it. But My Octopus Teacher,
Oh my God, I've watched it twice.
dude, it's so crazy.
I
Like
turn it on when I'm down.
I cried at the end,
Okay,
even though my girlfriend was like, "This guy's a fucking weirdo. He wants to bang this octopus."
definitely fetishizes the octopus a little
She's
bit.
like, "This is weird," and it made me wonder, dude. Do you think his wife is a fucking jealous? She's like, "Oh, you're going to see Ursula again?"
Every day.
Yeah, like-
he goes every day.
It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
What a crazy person, dude.
But he's also so smart. He's so
Totally.
smart.
And it just shows you, man, if you're creative and a little eccentric and willing to like do the same thing over and over again, you can really do something interesting. Like the only thing that sets that guy apart from other videographers is that he's willing to go in the ocean every single day.
Yeah, I mean that, and also the fact that he can handle being, shirtless and wetsuitless in 50-degree water for
know,
hours
dude.
at a time.
Crazy.
And he can hold his breath for like 2 to 3 minute stretches
Is
on
that
the
how
ocean
long
floor.
it was?
It has to be.
I couldn't believe, I didn't even realize at first that he wasn't using an air tank. Is
No.
he not using an air tank?
No, he's snorkeling,
That's
dude.
crazy, dude.
Yo, that is really hard. Go into a pool the next time that you are in a pool.
Dude, I can't hold my breath for fucking 20
See how
seconds.
long you can hold it for.
Yeah.
And then try to imagine what it would be like if you were, in a kelp forest in the dark,
With sharks everywhere.
surrounded by sharks.
That guy's a savage.
I mean, it is one of the most incredible
It's so interesting.
movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
The
really
intimacy between the octopus and the human, and what he
Incredible.
discovers that science had not yet.
I know. Wait, like the horns thing? Like I've never heard of that.
He
Like,
added,
you gotta watch this movie. It's
he
really cool.
added chapters to textbooks, basically.
Yeah.
He expanded what we knew.
What other stuff? Like it was unclear to me what discoveries. he
I
had made.
think up to that point, people didn't know how smart octopi were.
Right.
And that they basically have the same intelligence as a dog, as a yellow
Right.
lab, and him watching them play and watching it morph
Oh,
and all
playing
of
with
this,
the fish.
all
Yeah,
of
that
this
was
stuff.
nuts.
I mean, the way it hunts and the way it disguises itself, it's truly remarkable. It is totally one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
It's really cool. Yeah. free
On Netflix. One other quick recommendation, if people have a way of finding this, I don't know how available it is. There's a short film called Two Distant Strangers. It was written by Trayvon Free
Oh,
and
yeah.
another guy. Do you know Trayvon Free?
Like not like friend of a friend.
Yeah. So we have the same manager, and my manager sent me a copy of it, and it's unbelievable how good this. I think the star of the short film is Joey Badass,
Oh, the rapper.
whose music I actually really like.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Devastated is one of his songs that I really like. I feel devastated. Yeah. It's really good. It's basically Groundhog's Day with police brutality. So a black guy
Interesting.
keeps waking up after getting shot every day by the same cop
Oh,
and
it's
then
crazy.
reliving the same day, trying to escape it. He can't get away from the cycle. It's
Very cool.
symbolic and prescient and of the times and really powerful. So
Dude, in the past, I don't know if they still do this, but they'll do a thing where you can go to the movies and see all of the nominated shorts at the same time. That's a cool thing.
That
And
is
I'm
cool.
assuming that is something that's nominated for stuff.
it's been nominated
Sounds
for Oscar Best Short Film. Yeah.
Wow, very
Yeah.
cool. Good for
Yeah.
them, dude. Dude, a lot of comic, even the Lucas brothers wrote the story for Judas and the Black Messiah.
What?
Yeah. If you see
The script?
Yeah, no, it's a story by Keith and Kenny Lucas.
What does that mean?
But so
Story by.
I guess you wrote the story and then the screenwriters make it into a screenplay or something. I don't know specifically,
Wow.
but they're pals. They're around the comedy scene too. So
Yeah, those
it's cool
guys
to
are.
see comedy people crushing it.
Yeah.
Jermaine Fowler's like the lead in Coming to America too. Basically,
Really?
he plays Eddie Murphy's son.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet either, but I mean, good for the comedy
Yeah.
world. And it also, dude, it makes me feel happy to see these guys getting the sort of agency to do these creative projects.
Yeah.
Because, there's more to our trajectory than stand up.
Mhm.
We don't have, there's so many cool things that we could do if,
Yeah. Yeah.
if and when the industry allows us to.
So true. So true.
So, dude, we're rocking our Pit Viper frames, some of our favorite shades. There's something about these sunglasses that give you an edge.
The second I put mine on, I'm ready to win money.
I almost feel like the second I put them on, I'm about to show up to somebody's beach party and everyone's afraid that I'm going to bang their girlfriends.
Yeah, and they're gonna give you Coke and not ask for money.
And then they'd be like, oh, look, it's Julio. And I'm like, oh, you thought that was funny? Huh? Good one, dude. Give me your girlfriends.
Yeah, it's actually a hard G, and I'm gonna be a hard G in your girlfriend. You're
Oh!
banging chicks, busting beaver. I love it.
These are great shades. They're really cool. They're really futuristic looking. I feel like I can just surf through outer space rocking them. They're UV protection, all the works.
Yeah,
Go get a pair of Pit Vipers.
that's right. Go to pitviper.biz pitviper.biz/oops. You will have a discount applied at checkout. Get them today. They're polarized. They're awesome. They're perfect for this summer. pitviper.biz/oops. I got a great DM for us that I am very excited to share with you. Okay. This is from Ben. Here's my date story from last night in Chicago. So a girl comes over last night for a few hours and we play some board games. Really didn't hit it off, but it was fine. I said goodbye in the lobby. Her car is missing when she gets out there. So she texts me 20 minutes later, where is her car? I get out of bed and go out there and it is missing. It is at the impound. It was towed. She sleeps on my couch. We go in the morning to the pound. Uber goes to the wrong place. We walk the rest in the rain. We get there. I now find out the car is in her ex-boyfriend's name and we can't get it back. So now we have to find a trucker in Virginia to sign and notarize a letter for her to get the car out. Still raining. Eventually got the signature needed and faxed it over while I missed a full day of work. We made it back to the impound. I paid the fee because they only accepted cash. She got the car. I had no reason to stay invested, but was in an awkward be involved, don't be involved place. Sorry. Yeah. Be involved middle ground the entire day. I will not be seeing her again, will not be texting her, and surely will not be getting that $175 back.
Jesus.
Pretty rough.
Yes, as you would say, hate to say it.
You know, you do. Hate to see that. It's strange to me that they don't want to see each other again.
I would agree. That type of scenario typically brings people closer
Bonds you.
together.
It
Totally.
bonds you.
It's so weird.
I would have thought the two of them, like that's in, you almost can't ignore the universe
Totally.
magnetically pushing you together,
Yeah.
right?
Me-
It's
you
as
don't know
if
how
you're
me
like,
and your mom.
we don't like each other, and the universe is like, try again.
Try again, pal.
Try for a whole fucking day. Owe each other money. Actually be burdened to see each other again.
That's really funny, dude.
We're forcing you to think hard about this.
It's true.
It's like one of those things where, you know, I hate to say to be crass, but like I almost feel like they have to try having sex with each other.
I agree with that.
Because it could be that the sex is so insane for them that they're like, yeah, we were dead wrong.
Dude,
you know,
totally.
we were dead wrong. You agree with that?
Absolutely. And there's so many funny opportunities to like have chuckles during that sex too. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to notarize this dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is there anything I can do to avoid the $175 fee that I owe you, sir? It's my only car.
Dude, what a crazy, shitty day.
Yeah.
But you know, I've said this before. I've said it like, I think I said it on my travel project, but it's like those terrible experiences. I was talking about it from a travel perspective, but from dating too, like those terrible experiences are like this good stories you then later have.
Yeah.
There's a way to look at that in a positive light. And to your point, it's a great foundation for romance.
I know.
How bizarre.
But here's the problem, right? A story like that should be currency for him in the broader dating pool. If it doesn't work out with this girl, obviously it doesn't. It should be something that he can put in his resume or on his dating app, which alerts women to, yo, this is a really good guy.
Yeah.
He let her sleep on his couch. You know, he paid the fee. He spent the entire day with her, skipped work. I mean,
Dude,
how
totally.
much farther do you have to go
I know.
to prove yourself? And yet, you know, it's not something that like women are going to learn about him.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, man, this one, even if it didn't work out this time, you're building towards greatness with this story.
You believe in karma for this guy?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know? Like, why the hell not?
Yeah.
You know? Dude, I love that.
I know. I want to set him up. I hope people really hear that story and then are like, yo, I'm hot. Can you set me up with Ben? And then I'll hit Ben up. Be like, yo, dude, this chick says she's hot. You know, what do you think? Be like,
Dude,
sounds good
Francis
enough.
the matchmaker.
Yeah.
Dude, that's beautiful.
It'd be fun if we set some people up on
That
his
would be
podcast.
nice.
Yeah.
Dude, we've been getting a lot of good messages from people. I got a good one as well.
Yeah.
That we can read here.
Good.
Okay. Hey guys, big fan. All right. So this is, dude, I think you're gonna love this.
Good.
Wanted to get your guys' opinion on this topic. My girlfriend has nice long hair at a decent length, and every time she says she's going to cut it herself, she jokes about cutting it extremely short, like a man's haircut, which I'm very opposed to. She says ultimately it would be her decision regardless of how I felt about it, even though she would likely never cut it short. But this led me to think about the bigger question of how much, say, should each person have in a relationship on the other person's potential significant appearance change.
Mhm.
If she threatens to cut her hair very short, should I be able to shave my head, get a lip piercing, neck tattoo,
Yeah.
gain 100 pounds, parentheses, Fat Francis,
Yeah.
without giving her a chance to approve it?
This is great.
This is a very good
This
question.
is so good.
Yeah.
So good. Lots to unpack here.
Yeah.
All right. Because once you've been dating someone long enough, your image becomes intertwined.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? You present yourselves together.
Right.
She brings you to a work function. You bring her to meet your parents. All of these things become, you're a reflection of her choices and she's a reflection of your choices.
Yeah.
And if all of a sudden the night before that work function, you went out and got a neck tattoo, you're fucking her over. You're fucking her over.
That's
Do you know
interesting.
what I mean?
That was not where my brain went initially, but that's a very good point. You
And-
become a unit.
Yeah, you are a shared tandem postcard.
Right.
You are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a brand together in a
Yes.
way.
Yes.
And I think you do need to run major structural changes by each other before you commit to them.
Yeah, it's worth doing because at the end of the day, though, you know what I mean? Like it's a tit for tat kind of thing. And if you make some crazy rogue decision, like it's going to negatively impact things potentially. Like
Yeah.
maybe your partner isn't going to want to have sex with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's shitty. And then that could lead to you wanting to break up. Like
Right.
these sort of things, unfortunately, they like you can do whatever you want, but I don't have to want to fuck you anymore.
Yes.
And that goes both ways. So if you want to do something crazy, that's fine. I can't say don't, but that will have consequences.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
having said that, I'm all for that. Like if my girlfriend wanted to do some new crazy thing, I'd be down. I love the variety. I love the change. I think it's fun,
Mhm.
whatever. And that could, so I'm not trying to act like I'm some backward person, but
Right.
just
Right.
there are risks associated with actions that you take.
I agree. And I think that, women who can pull off short hair are super sexy.
Agreed.
My mind goes to Carrie Mulligan for some reason.
Interesting.
I think she's so gorgeous.
Does she have short hair?
She has had.
I only remember her from Promising Young Woman now.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking Drive with Ryan
Oh,
Gosling.
wow.
She had pretty short
I
hair.
forgot that she was in that.
I'm pretty sure.
Dude, Audrey Tattoo, our girl from Amelie.
Oh,
The little fucking cute little
yeah,
short.
yeah.
That's not really like a guy haircut. But dude, I'm into chicks with the guy haircut. I'm into chicks with shaved heads.
Natalie Portman in V for Vendetta.
You know? Bring
Demi
it on, baby.
Moore in G.I. Jane.
Bring it on.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
For sure. Okay, but back to the original question, I will say that my company line, whenever my girlfriend does anything, is like, you look great, you're beautiful. And she gets mad at me for not being more forthcoming with my feedback. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting. So she's
Like
like,
if
I
she
want
gets
to
her
know.
hair colored a different way or wears a new thing and asks me, I'm basically just giving her positive feedback
Right.
every time.
And she wants your actual.
Whereas she gives me, like, tells me when she doesn't like something.
Right.
And then I'm like, sometimes I get annoyed.
I thought that you meant she wants to hear honest feedback from
She
you.
does. And yet she knows that I think it's because my dad was this way. It was just a complete support, singular level of like feedback.
Right.
Always glowing, always praise.
Positive, always right.
You look amazing. You look stunning. And I think men get that, right? Because I hate to get weird, like, you hear about when women get pregnant, right? And they put on weight. Men are always like, you look so amazing. You look beautiful. You want women to feel sexy all the time.
Right.
And so whether it's pregnancy or a new hair thing, I mean, why is it any different? I'm just always going to deliver good news to you. That's my whole point.
Right. And there's nothing like taboo about what you just said. I mean, going through a pregnancy is a traumatizing, crazy thing. And like, we don't have to do it.
Right.
So like the least you can do is be supportive and like sincere and be like, you're still fucking hot as shit. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine if like your girlfriend got pregnant and put on a bunch of weight and then she was like, do you think I look fat? And your answer was like, do you want me to be honest? Fucking scorched earth. Absolutely not.
You're toast. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're toast.
So, I think we're just, I don't know. I'm trained to just not even think about it.
Let me ask you this. Being comedians, and I think that there's this interesting thing where the comedians who I know who've never done anything but comedy tend to be like so sensitive that it's almost unreasonable. And I think, some of that naturally rubs off even like I feel like I have a little bit of a background. I worked a normal job, not for very long, but like I have that. And I like to think that it makes me a little bit more rounded than some comedians, whatever, but still like I can be sensitive. And I find that my girlfriend, and maybe it sounds like yours potentially, who both like have these corporate roles, whatever, it's almost like you learn how to take feedback in a better way. Like sometimes I find her being like less sensitive and more straightforward, wanting to actually hear what I think when I think that I have to like protect her, but it's me just projecting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with that. I think
something there.
Normal people have a much thicker skin, and it's a great fallacy that comedians somehow have thick skin. They don't.
They don't.
Hey, G, that's a pretty cool shirt. Where'd you get that?
You like this? Dude, I'm telling you, these Don't Half-Ass Anything guys, they make really cool merch.
Sure do.
I'm actually really impressed because typically when you have a sort of quote unquote conglomerate, unless you're like a Fortune 500 company, it's hard to do everything well.
Yep.
What do they say? Master of none?
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes.
But our pals over at Don't Half-Ass Anything, they truly don't half-ass anything.
Yeah. And they've got a big announcement, which we've also teased a few times. The two founders of the company are about to take a summit bid at Half Dome. They're going to climb Half Dome in Yosemite. They've been training for it. They put out a bunch of videos. You can see those over at don'thalfassanything.com. Also on their Instagram, don't half-ass anything. And it's super cool. We really support these guys. We're inspired by these guys. They have a great sort of ethos and way of life. Everything about them speaks to us, especially Giulio, who's a major national park aficionado.
That's right.
I've
never been to Yosemite.
No.
Which I'm a little embarrassed to admit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one that like everyone's been to. So I gotta step it up.
We should go meet those guys out there.
That would be fun, man.
That'd be really fun.
Do a little adventure.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna take that fucking life-sized ass shot glass up to the top with them.
Yeah, they probably, I'm certain they will.
That's my challenge to those guys. You better be bringing the ass plate with you.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're not really about that life.
Victory butt shot. Go to don'thalfassanything.com. Use promo code OOPS15 and you'll get 15% off their merch. They have cool hats. They also have the ass plate. It's one of the best novelty items that I've ever seen, and it lines up perfectly with their brand and with our brand. We have a lot of fun with it.
This t-shirt's sick.
T-shirts are sick. Everything they've got, hoodies,
Get in there.
Everything you might want. So go check it out. So go to don'thalfassanything.com and use promo code OOPS15 and you'll get 15% off their merch. Dude,
They're crazy people.
I posted that thing on Instagram, right? The long fake apology, like I was about to cancel myself with old jokes. And Shane Gillis wrote as a comment, "You forgot one," which is very funny. He's referring to the blog I wrote about that got me fired, right? Super funny. And then he texted me afterwards and he was like, "Yo, sorry about that comment." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I took it down." I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "I just didn't want you to think I was a jerk." And I was like, "Dude, are you hanging out with the most sensitive fucking comedians ever?"
Literally.
Because
That's a good one.
what world would that offend me?
Yeah, no, totally.
And the problem is, a lot of comedians are fucking
Very,
sensitive.
very sensitive.
All this stuff with like, there's a comedy blogger named Seth Simons, I think is his name. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know, but he's the guy who's like going after the stand, right?
Seth Simons. Yeah. And he writes these pieces that are, you know, sort of point out bad jokes that comedians have said or troublesome, controversial, racial, whatever, all that stuff. And every single time that he does this, all these comedians get furious and like post it and they're like, fuck this guy. It's like, yo, ignore it.
Right.
Why add fuel to the flames? This guy's not writing for the New York Times.
Right.
Just let it be and nobody's going to see it. All you're doing is bringing more eyeballs to this.
Totally.
Am I wrong?
Dude, you're right. And this is a perfect situation of like, do as the rappers do. You know what I mean? A rapper would never say shit back. They don't give a fuck.
Okay. Agreed. I disagree a little bit.
Okay.
Rap beefs are some of the most sensitive skinned things I've ever fucking seen in my life.
Okay, fair. But it's not like if some random person writes a bad review or if haters comment on their shit or people, they never respond. Or if people are like no rappers are taking like COVID stuff seriously. And to your point, because they never like respond to anything, people stop starting shit with them.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
You look at Drake now, you get
He's
to
a
the
little bit
point
more
where
sensitive.
you own. I was going to say, I find that Drake is so above it all. Man, we've disagreed on everything.
He's a little petty.
When you,
It's okay.
fair enough. Is Drake super sensitive? Does he come back at everybody?
He's a little petty, relatively speaking, compared to some of the,
Interesting.
he'll respond to things.
So many people dump on Drake. So many people take shots at him. And it's simply because he's so successful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even close. It's incredible.
He's the most successful guy in music.
yeah, it's
Just
amazing.
about, right?
Bless his heart.
More than Bieber, more than...
So yeah, Chris is right. It's literally not.
Dude,
even
his
close.
private plane is a passenger jet that he converted. When you get to that level, you're on a different
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world.
But dude, to what, like, all this conversation, like, I have noticed there are times where people will try to pick fights with, say, Travis Scott or whoever, like some big rapper, and they just straight up don't even respond or care or acknowledge it. And it's incredible how powerful not giving something a forum can be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And read the comedy stuff, I don't know if that applies.
Well, I got something to share with you, which is kind of interesting. There was a tweet that someone tweeted that went very, very viral a couple days ago. Some guy that had, 3,000 followers on Twitter. And he said, he goes, I think comedians who didn't go to college are funnier. There is nothing funny at all about Harvard University. Right? And then he added that it got like 160,000 likes and tens of thousands of retweets. It was super viral. And the only reason I saw it was because everybody tagged me in it. Everybody just wrote at Francis C. Ellis, at Francis C. Ellis, at Francis C. Ellis. And it's like, all right, does this bother me? No. Because first of all, I would say that so many of my favorite comedians went to college.
Mhm.
And not only that, but if you want to talk about Harvard alone, Conan, BJ Novak from The Office, Ryan, right? Mike Shore went to the guy who created Parks and Rec and The Good Place. Who else? There's so many. Rashida Jones went to Harvard. There's so many profoundly successful comedians, hysterical people that went there. The guy who created The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Andy Borowitz is his name. The list is crazy. And then if you just want to move on to the Ivy League in general, like Mindy Kaling, Ellie Kemper, all these people. There's so many successful Ivy League comedians, right?
Right.
But it was a slow internet day, and so it was coming down to the wire, and I had to get my second blog out for Bro Bible. So I wrote a blog about this tweet, and I titled it "Brain Dead Moron Says Harvard Comedians Aren't Funny" or something like that. Because a little clickbait, little blogging 101. You got to give it a little bit of a spicy title just to get people to fucking read it, right? But it was kind of a throwaway blog. Like I didn't really have much stock in it. And I said exactly what I just said. I was like, plenty of really funny people went to these schools and all that. The guy saw the blog and then fired off like 15 tweets.
Oh, nice.
Being like, who the fuck is this guy, Francis? He put in his profile, like, quote, brain dead moron, end quote, and then attributed it to me and my Twitter handle. And then he,
Dude, you're good at getting in these little squabbles, man.
But you know
Was it
what?
fun? Did you have fun?
No, but I deserved it.
Deserved what?
I deserved this one.
What happened?
So here's what happened. So, he like linked to the blog, and then I didn't end up reading, and he was like LMAO and like showed a screenshot of the blog, and that had like 100 comments under it, but I didn't read any of those because I knew they were just going to be
right
things
You
that
just
were
getting
negative
fucking
about me,
shat
and
on,
I don't want to deal with that.
Totally.
So then I DM'd him, and I just wrote, I like you. That was a funny tweet. Because I wanted to make it clear, like, I don't actually dislike this guy. The Harvard line didn't bother me. And I felt a little bit like an asshole for the blog I wrote because it wasn't clear. I was trying to play up being the indignant Harvard douchebag grad who can't take any shit about, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like the Winklevoss kind of guy.
Dude, you're really good at how, like, sending that out as a sort of unclear message.
I know, and I'm not, because it's funnier if people don't know that I don't care.
Wait, what do you mean?
If people think that I actually really care and get angry and want to be known as a Harvard grad and get offended if anyone takes a shit
Right, but
shits on Harvard.
I'm saying people don't realize that you are doing it like satirically.
I know that.
It's crazy.
I know, but that's not necessarily a good thing.
It's not necessarily a good thing.
It's not necessarily a good thing that people don't know that I am being kind of like making fun of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, ironically, a week before this whole tweet fucking battle erupted, I had tweeted the following: TikTokers, show me you went to Harvard without telling me you went to Harvard, and then me, can I just tell you that's how I've always done it?
Right. That was funny.
Right. So it's a very like that's playing the guy. That's playing the Harvard guy. Like I get the joke. So I sent this to this guy. I was like, I like you. That was a funny tweet. And then he messages me back and he was like, LOL, thanks. And I was like, sorry I called you a brain dead moron. I didn't mean that. I just, I needed to get some clicks on the blog. And he goes, I had a feeling, that there was some satire
this behind
in
the
that.
scenes
So
situation.
I thought we both saw totally eye to eye, right? But as this was happening, he then adds me to a group chat on Twitter
Oh boy.
with 15 of his Twitter friends.
Oh boy.
Now, these are all like probably 19 to 23-year-old guys, TikTok era people
Yes.
who
Gen
have their
Z.
own language and their own sense of humor. And I think he thought he was going to throw me into this like trap where here comes this, guy who doesn't get it. He's very sensitive about Harvard, all of this. And dude, these guys start fucking with me. And they probably don't know
This is crazy.
that one, I don't give a shit. And two, I'm aware that they're fucking with me.
Yes.
So one after another, they wrote Francis, 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 Francis.
That's pretty funny.
Francis, just all 16 of them, just writing my name. And I wrote back like, what's up, guys? And then someone took a video of himself and he goes, Francis, like that. And I'm like, all right, and then they start like making jokes being like, the Harvard admissions committee, I hear they're letting anybody in now these days. And I'm like, haha, whatever. And then someone else is like, yeah, but I'm sure they take people's circumstances into account and all that. And I just wrote back, fuck Harvard. And then they were like, oh.
They like didn't know what to say.
I mean, I just took the wind out of their sails.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck about any of this. And I wouldn't take the bait, and they kicked me out of the group chat.
Oh, that's great. Like, oh, they were trying to rile you up.
I think they were like trying to have fun with me, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this happen. I know what's going on here. I'm not stupid, you know?
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. This new generation of social media people is a menace. They are a menace. First of all, a buddy of mine who's like a big, young Twitter user told me, I was like, dude, first, the guy who wrote the Harvard tweet, he's got like, he's only, this, at least on this account, he's only put up like 50 tweets or something.
Wait, which guy? The guy who
wrote the original viral Harvard tweet.
That's your buddy now?
No, not my buddy.
Oh,
but the guy I was going back and forth
your buddy.
with,
Got
right?
it.
No, I have another friend, buddy who is a 22-year-old Twitter user who's very good at like going viral on Twitter. With these weird offbeat jokes that I'm like, how the fuck is this getting 120,000 retweets?
Right.
I don't get it. Right. And they live in that world of people not getting it. They like that. They like throwing shit up that's for them. But I asked this guy, this buddy of mine, I was like, how are these fucking tweets getting such crazy numbers? And he goes, dude, all these Twitter users are in group chats on their phone. They schedule tweets, and then everyone ask everyone to retweet them. And if you get 16 Twitter users, all of whom have over 100,000 tweets, to retweet your one tweet, that tweet is going to go viral.
Right.
So
And a lot of times I notice
it.
the tweet, it's like they're not that good all the time.
No, they're not good.
They're just like pretty straightforward.
They're all in
they'll be
cahoots.
all right. But like, yeah.
Dude, they're all in cahoots.
Interesting. Because, dude, that joke, honestly, what that joke should be, or not even joke, but that statement should be, it's like, there's nothing funny about success. That's true. As a general point, that point is true. People don't want to hear how great you are. That's not funny, right? The way he said it is wrong. And like, there are funny things about success, but typically failure is funnier than success, right?
Yes.
We can all agree with that. That's true. But then the Harvard, like that's not as good of a point as he could have made with that.
Yeah, but dude, this is what I'm saying. The very fact that we are trying to diagnose this realistically means that we are out of touch.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe.
Right? I think it's this weird meta, the less people understand it, the funnier it is.
Right.
And it seems wasteful to me. Like what a waste of fucking time.
Well, dude, they famously kind of manipulate the ticket sales at the Trump rally.
That was great.
That was
But
hilarious.
that was K-pop fans.
Oh, that's even crazy.
It was
they were
like
TikTok
the
users?
K-pop community, wasn't it though? That they were all fans of Korean pop.
But it was a TikTok trend. Yeah.
So I don't mind stuff like that.
That's great. I mean, that's like a hilarious social experiment.
Yeah, I guess that's true. By the way, the Harvard Lampoon was exactly the same way. They used to do, the Harvard Lampoon is the literary magazine that produced Conan O'Brien, and it was, meant to be humorous, but a lot of the stuff was just so bizarre and so just for them that only they would get it.
Right.
And I think there was definitely like a superiority to that.
Yeah.
Which was like, if you don't get it, it's probably not
right.
for you. And you're like, shut the
Shut
fuck
the
up,
dude. Yeah.
Funny's funny. Like, be accessible.
Yeah.
You know what
Dude,
I mean?
Definitely. It's really easy, especially in comedy. And I experienced this. I honestly feel like it's a thing when you've been doing comedy 5 or 6 years, you start to think that like comedy that no one understands is funny. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like a phase you go through in comedy.
You laugh
like,
at people
oh.
bombing. You laugh at
You're
people
like,
bombing.
that was brilliant. It's like,
Yeah.
was it brilliant? I don't know.
I
Dude,
know.
this reminds me of something that I wanted to ask you that I think is pretty interesting. In your life, and because you're a comedian, people probably say this to you all the time. And I was curious if this has ever been accurate. Someone will say to you, I feel like you'd appreciate this. Has that ever been true in your life? I feel like you'd appreciate it. Have you ever actually appreciated it?
Dude, you say that to me all the time.
No, I don't.
You say that on the podcast. And
I
then I
do?
often do appreciate what you're telling me.
Okay, fine. Non-comedy people. I feel like you'd appreciate this.
I see what you mean.
You're
I
a
see what you
comedian.
mean.
I feel like you'd appreciate this.
So people who, yeah, right. No, that's wrong. It's one step below. Yo, I think I have a joke for you.
Right. Or you can use this in
you
your
can
act.
use this in your act. I get that a lot, and I'm like,
It's like you just wanted to tell me this awful story, and you
Yeah.
thought you tricked me into giving you my attention.
Dude, I get emails from people with
feel like
like
you'd appreciate
lists
this.
of jokes that they think they've worked out for me.
Jesus.
And let me tell you, I appreciate that you are following me and you feel engaged enough to contribute this, but it is not easy to write a joke for someone else to tell.
True.
You know, unless you're
It's
like
part of what stand-up
hired.
is, bro. It's like you
Yeah.
tell personalized jokes. That's what makes them different.
Yeah.
You're telling a joke through your POV. It's hard to
And
write
not
jokes
only
with
that, but even if someone did write a joke that was so funny, I wouldn't want to use it because I would feel unoriginal for having taken that and it wasn't my own. Do you know what I mean? I'd feel like
Yeah.
I was plagiarizing it.
Yeah.
Or secondhand. I don't know. So
secondhand comedy, dude.
yeah. All right. What else you got?
Let's do one more email
Okay.
before we get out of here. Real quickly before we go, this was a pretty funny email that I thought you guys would appreciate. Let's check this out. Giulio and Francis, new listener to the pod. Naturally, I've been binge listening for the past week. Love you. Thank you. I came across an episode where Giulio mentioned that he counts sheep jumping over a fence to go to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Chris, what's up? You do it now? It does help. It does help. Now that I'm a nursing student, as well as getting older, I have a hard time decompressing from the stresses of the day and going to sleep quickly. When I heard Giulio's method, I decided to give it a try. It worked great, except for the fact that when the sheep come over the fence, I see a cartoon sheep body with Giulio's face on it. No matter how hard I concentrate, I can't make the sheep have a regular face. It's so disturbing to me, yet oddly knocks me out after a few Giulio sheep jump the fence.
Yeah.
In conclusion, I now fall asleep very quickly, yet extremely weirded out. Thank you
Wow.
for that. Lovely.
Yeah, good for you. I don't know. I think embrace it. Let it be the Jeep, the G sheep. Let it be a Jeep.
Little Bo Jeep.
Little
Dude,
yeah.
that's great, man. Thank you for sharing. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is Oops the Podcast. We love you all. Let us know what's going on. You know, hit us up. Give us updates. We're almost done with this COVID era, hopefully. So good times ahead of us, hopefully. Follow us at Oops the Podcast, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. I am at Not Julio. He is at Francis C.C. Ellis. Goodbye. If you like this video, we have a bunch more. Just like and subscribe to our channel, and you can get all the videos you want.
Oops.